Welcome back to our podcast, Cry, Laugh, Eat, Making Friends with Your Emotions. Great to have you with us. My name is Helen.
And my name is Ruth, and we're so happy that you joined us today, where we dive into the waves of our emotions and we learn how to stay on our feet, or if we fall, how to rise gracefully. And today we're talking about a common yet often painful experience where you might feel discouraged because someone doesn't treat your feelings with the respect that they deserve. So imagine this. You're going about your day, trying your best, but someone keeps poking fun at your efforts. They might think it's all in good humour, but their words can sometimes feel like small cuts, belittling you and what you really care about. And then if it's someone that you love, Helen, or someone that you really love, it can even be confusing. Just confusing how a comment or an action that's meant as a joke can make us feel small. So listeners, today we're exploring why this might hurt, what emotions are stirred by it, and how we can communicate our needs effectively without losing the warmth of those relationships.
So let's explore for a moment how that might make us feel. We might feel embarrassed, humiliated sometimes. We might feel shame from what they've said. We take it on board. We may feel insignificant or unimportant, disappointed, annoyed, insulted, offended, resentful or uncomfortable.
I was just thinking as you said all those feelings that it just made me think of when I was a child, because quite often adults can sometimes be dismissive of children's feelings. And so they say and do things that might make a child feel embarrassed or humiliated or shameful or all those things.
Yeah, definitely. And then some of those feelings stay for a very long time if you haven't learnt to understand where they come from, how they impact you. So today we're going to explore all about feeling uncomfortable. And these feelings that we talked about just a moment ago, they all come from the emotion disgust. How disgusting. So let's explore, what does disgust as a friend teach us? From our book, Making Friends with Your Emotions, we share that disgust notifies you when something is unpleasant or unhealthy. And so if you think back to when someone's mocking you or making fun, that is definitely unpleasant if it's consistent.
It's such a great emotion, disgust. It's one of our favourites, isn't it, Helen?
Yeah, it is.
Because I think for me, it protects self-respect. It just immediately says, this is not on. And it jumps in there to protect.
I love that. And part of the book says that the feelings that come along with the emotion disgust, some of those that we said, humiliated or embarrassed, shamed, disappointed, etc., they're not comfortable feelings.
They're not pleasant at all, are they?
And they're not pleasant feelings, but they help you preserve your dignity. I love that, because dignity is a sense of self-worth and respect for yourself. And every individual deserves that respect.
We should have a cheer there. That's for you, everyone out there. You deserve that and more. Yeah, it's about being treated like you really matter by others and just respecting that your feelings are important.
As you know, if you're a regular listener, we're all about making friends with your emotions. So this little emotion, disgust, which is the green little emotion on our book, it's there to tell us that you deserve more. You deserve more. If you're being treated respectfully, you deserve more.
Yay! You are worth more than that.
That's for sure.
So remember, when we're navigating those tricky waves, the big ones, the small ones,
waves of emotion,
there are certain techniques that help you make friends with your emotions and help you to ride that wave. Let's have a look at the basic techniques that will help you to ride or navigate those tricky waves. The first step is always to acknowledge what you're feeling. Just remember to recognize your feelings in these moments is a vital step towards healing, understanding, and caring for yourself. And acknowledging also how you feel is respecting yourself by identifying that feeling. It's giving yourself a voice.
I really love that, the way you said it, because naming it, I got taught by someone very special many years ago when I was in deep struggle. She would always say, you have to name it, Helen. You have to name what this is. And naming it empowers you to see it more clearly for what it is, not get so caught in the confusion of, I shouldn't feel this, or whatever confusion you're in.
And I think acknowledging it too without any judgment or criticism of yourself.
Yeah.
Just saying to yourself, okay, this is what's happening. This is the information and data I've received from my body, and this is what I'm feeling. It's as straight and simple as that. Not always easy.
No.
So, Helen, what's the second step?
So the second step is looking for what the message is from that emotion. As we talked about a lot in previous episodes, every emotion brings a message. Now that takes a little bit of stopping and thinking about that. But once you've named what you're feeling, if you could picture the emotion sitting beside you as a friend, what might it say? If you actually think about that, you might be surprised that the answer is within you. We are often caught in confusion and tough on ourselves, and so we don't actually hear that message. Would you agree, Ruth, it is there?
Definitely. And I think if you're struggling to find what that message is, I've found what's really been helpful is to actually read the verses about each emotion.
From our book?
From our book,
Yeah.
not because I want to sell it to you, but it really does help. If you're able to read the verse on disgust and explore and learn about what it's saying and why it's serving you, why it's there, I often find that it triggers thoughts for me and messages, and I realise, oh, that's what it's for.
I really love that. And Ruth was being really honest there, and she's not trying to sell it to you. If you notice, we really don't try to sell our book. Probably we should, but we're actually here to serve you. As Ruth was speaking just then about the book, it really does do that, because the book is 6 of the core emotions: fear, sadness, happiness, disgust, surprise, and anger. It's as simple as they each share with you, as if they're speaking to you, what they do for you, how they help you, and how they can serve you. When you understand what the emotion can do, then you can better hear what message it might bring you. Ruth talked about acknowledging and naming what you're feeling, and then we've talked about finding the message that the emotion has for you. When you know that, then you can determine, what are my choices? What can I do now? So let's go back to the scenario. We're being mocked or made fun of by someone, and it's not feeling fun. There are times when that feels fun, and then there are times when it really makes you uncomfortable and starts to have a different feeling.
When it's consistent or maybe excessive.
Yes.
You know then that it's gone past the fun.
That's right. So when you're thinking about what are my choices, this is where it gets empowering. And this is where, once you're hearing the message of the emotion, you then realize, I've got some choices here. Disgust is letting me know you deserve better than this. So then you can determine, and I just came up with a few little things for this scenario particularly, but you might then determine, do I need to speak to this person? Is it that important to me that I need to speak to them? And remember that you've named what you feel, and you can name that to the person if you decide you want to speak to them and tell them, this is how it makes me feel when you do that. This is what I feel. And then you can state to them whether you're okay with it or not. You can say, I'm really not okay with it because I don't like feeling like this. That's a healthy boundary. It might take courage if you're not used to doing that. And then you can let them know that I'd really prefer that you didn't do that. I'd like you to stop. Whatever your way is, you'll have your own unique way of telling someone that. But these are healthy boundaries. And we can only get those healthy boundaries when we understand what the emotion's message is for us. When we understand that you feel uncomfortable because disgust is letting you know this isn't okay.
Disgust is really helping you by saying you need to assert your worth.
Yeah, I love
You need
that.
to stand up and keep your emotional well-being intact. And you can do that with really good choices.
You can, and suddenly feel a bit emotional. But yeah, I've spent a big chunk of my life not doing that, rather being sunk in the feelings that come when someone is being disrespectful. But asserting your worth, that is so healthy. It isn't rude, it isn't unkind, because you can do it wrapped in all your values. If you value respect and kindness, then you can tell someone with respect and kindness that this isn't okay. So I just want to share, speaking to you from being someone who hasn't asserted my worth in my life until probably recently. I really reach out to you. If you struggle in that area, I want you to know that you are worth it. And this is why we get brave and come on and do this podcast, because we want you to know that you are worth every effort that it takes to respect you.
Amen. So, in conclusion, we just want to share a very special thought that we love and appreciate from a woman called Marianne Williamson, and you can Google her. She said that, quote, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." And we're thinking of each one of you out there and thinking just how powerful you are, and we are, and we don't realize it. And that power begins within, with basic techniques like we've been discussing. Those simple steps of acknowledging what you feel, asking yourself, what's the message? Asking yourself, what are my choices? And then acting on that activates that power. And so we leave this message with you and our love, and we'll see you next week.
To you then.
Bye.
Bye.